Sure, there's some debate as to whether animals are capable of complex things like holding grudges, but after this, you may just be convinced. Join us as we check out some cases of animals taking revenge on humans. Trophy hunter crushed to death. One trophy hunter based in South Africa by the name of Theunis Botha had made his living from flying to the United States and getting wealthy Americans to go to Africa. And what did they do there? Well, they went and gunned down animals in the safari. It was during one of these big game safari hunts where the tables would be turned, however, on the group's leader. The group would be taken to Zimbabwe, where they were positioned just outside of a national park when a herd of elephants suddenly appeared. 3 female elephants would run toward the group. So naturally, the group would begin opening fire. But it was the 4th elephant of the pack that would grab the leader by her trunk. She may have suspected that he was trying to kill her family during breeding season, and so as the other hunters would shoot at her, she fell over, crushing Botha in the meantime. Botha killed countless animals with his safari hunts, decimating populations, and while many may feel sympathy for him and his family, had the tables been turned, he would have done the exact same thing to save his children as well. Hunting, especially large animals like elephants, crocodiles, lions, and leopards, means that you better have perfect aim every single time, because those animals are just as capable of protecting themselves as a human is standing behind a gun. It's just unfortunate that Botha and many other big game hunters have discovered that the hard way. Siberian tigers. Now, it's been speculated that this particular tiger held a grudge after she escaped to kill 1 man and injure 2 others. Authorities investigated how the animal could have even escaped, but recent reports say that she may have actually jumped or scaled a wall in the enclosure, which was lower than the recommended standard. The victims of her attack may have taunted her beforehand. The tiger ended up killing Carlos Sousa Jr., a 17-year-old. And then would go on to viciously maul 2 other men. Just before the zoo would close, the 4-year-old tiger managed to escape her pen and then attack the 3 men. Tatiana, the escaped tiger, was killed almost 20 minutes after the call that she had escaped. So did she have a target in mind when she escaped her enclosure, and was she motivated to kill and hurt these men? Animal expert Dave Salmoni stepped in and has years of training big cats under his belt, as well as being the Animal Planet Network's predator expert. He had no doubt about it, saying that the tiger could have been surrounded by 10,000 people, but would have avoided them all just to get to the 3 that it was focused on. He continued to say that the tiger had to have felt extremely threatened by the 3 individuals because they're not known for going and just killing randomly. The reason that tigers hunt in the first place is simply to eat and continue their survival, and not because they're murder machines. Elephants take revenge. Elephants are known for displaying signs of sadness when a herd member passes away, and they're also known to never forget. But for a group in a village just outside of Matari in eastern India, there was something unusual that happened. A train struck and then killed an elephant, which isn't uncommon in the region, although it is regrettable. The death of the herd member wasn't something these elephants would soon forget, however, and after the incident, the herd of 15 elephants remained near where the accident had taken place. In fact, they became disruptive to other trains that were coming through the area, but had decided to wait out the elephants who were mourning their dear friend. They apparently recognized humans that were to blame for the death of their friend, and so that's when they took revenge on a nearby village, causing damage to 10 homes and even demolishing part of a school in the area. Elephant chasers were then brought into the village to try to get them into a new area by scaring them off with firecrackers. But the herd remained vigilant, staying next to the train tracks where their friend was killed. Collisions between elephants and trains aren't rare, and sometimes the elephants are struck or electrocuted by the tracks, but at least 80 elephants every year are killed on the tracks themselves. Authorities have instructed drivers to use caution and to be careful because parts of the tracks lead through unsettled swaths of forest which may be home to these animals. However, it doesn't seem like human progress will be derailed anytime soon. Intimidating circus trainer mauled to death. One tiger had finally had enough of his abusive trainer, and that's when he snapped, attacking the handler and circus performer. Most school children are excited to go to the circus to watch the animals and the people perform, but as we get older, we realize that not all of the animals are treated fairly there, and some are even abused in order to get them to do the tricks that children are so wowed by. It just so happened that a tiger by the name of Gandhi, ironically, had finally had enough and his opportune moment came. During the middle of an act, the performer would lose her balance, and that's when Gandhi jumped on her leg and wouldn't let go. She began to strike him in the face with her whip as she became more panicked, and a trainer by the name of David Donner came in, beginning to strike Gandhi as well. However, the tiger would be persistent and then drag the performer across the cage, where he finally did release her. And it was lucky for her, because usually tigers who feel threatened or in danger don't let go of their prey so easily. Gandhi was then struck by his caretaker about 40 times, and the beating just seemed to go against certain regulations enacted by the Animal Welfare Act, even if it is to save a human's life. If the humans had treated the tiger appropriately in the first place and knew what to do in the situation, it would not have escalated so quickly. And it just goes to show that both the trainer and the performer were irresponsible and had no idea what to do if the tiger suddenly wasn't going to cooperate with them. This particular circus, by the name of Circus Pages, has had more than 20 violations against them before this incident with Gandhi ever happened, including removing the barriers that separate tigers from spectators, placing the public at risk, and failing to provide wild animals with proper vet care, food, and space to move around in. But amazingly, Circus Pages is still up and running and has been for over 25 years, because apparently tiger attacks and animal abuse aren't grounds to close up shop. Dog destroys a man's car. Dogs can be a man's best friend, if they aren't going around kicking other dogs, that is. And if they do decide to do this, well, then the man apparently gets what he deserves. A big old heaping pile of revenge. According to China Central Television, one motorist decided that he had a bad day, and that's when he would get out of his car to kick a stray dog in the parking lot. While no human saw the incident, it doesn't mean that dogs weren't watching the cruel act. The pup didn't even resort to violence after the kick, but decided that she would take revenge on him in a completely different way. The dog then brought along a few friends, and they began chewing up the man's car. At least 3 dogs were there to help, and they left bite marks all over the body panel. It is impossible to say if the dogs knew exactly what they were doing, but dogs have been known to act out when they're treated badly, even helping their pack members if they need to. They also have a keen sense of knowing when a person is good or bad, so who knows if they were really looking for justice, because some have been known to cause property damage when stressed out or anxious. However, it is interesting that the dog knew exactly which car the man had driven, and the man who had kicked her, and hopefully he learned a lesson about treating animals cruelly from the experience. An octopus wreaks havoc. Otto the Octopus is well known in Germany as the octopus who may take place of Paul the Octopus. Paul passed away recently, but he was the one who predicted the results of soccer matches and even had accurate predictions for 7 straight years, beginning with the 2010 World Cup. This would bring Paul worldwide attention as an animal oracle, and people were hoping that Otto may be the next animal psychic because the world just seems to love them. There's also no doubting that Otto is extremely intelligent. Staff believe that he became annoyed with a bright light in his aquarium, and he discovered that if he climbed onto the rim of his tank and then shot a jet of water in the direction of the light, he could extinguish it. Of course, it was the staff's fault for training Otto to learn how to shoot a stream of water in the first place. However, electricians were baffled as to how the light kept breaking, and so they decided that they would take shifts in order to keep watch and figure it all out. As it turns out, when Otto would shoot a stream into the light, it would cause a blackout, and it ended up shorting the electric supply to the entire aquarium as well as the water pumps to other animals' tanks. After 3 restless nights, they were finally able to pinpoint the problem and found out that it was Otto the octopus causing all of the chaos. The light would then be placed up higher so that the octopus couldn't reach it with his precise jet stream of water. However, Otto is still always looking for attention, and he's even come up with brand new ways in order to get it, since he discovered that staff members were watching him much more closely now. Otto has already decided to juggle hermit crabs in his tank, throw stones at the glass, which damages it, and even rearrange his tank in order to give it a more zen feeling. Although his fellow tank members don't exactly enjoy the changes that he ends up making. Otto the octopus must be enacting revenge on humans who want him to be the next octopus oracle. You know, either that or he's extremely bored during the winter months when the aquarium is less than busy and he has to occupy his time somehow, right? Well, the people of Coburg, Germany have even been called to action to try and keep Otto entertained, and they've suggested giving him a chessboard to play with. The board did keep him entertained for a little while, and he even played with it by himself, but eventually he just tossed the entire thing and the pieces out of his cage as if to say, "I'm done. What's next?" Kittens! No, we're not talking about lions or tigers. We're talking about the average domestic house cat. That's right, that adorable little fur devil sitting on the back of your couch has the ability to murder you because it's the spawn of Beelzebub himself. Don't worry, your cat isn't going to maul you to death. They'll likely just infect you with a murderous parasite, and you're going to